Hello beautiful people, it's me again at 1 o'clock. It's day 3 from my 10-day Get to Know Me challenge. First again I want to thank you to Stanislava that she gave me the opportunity to reach out to the world through her and to really show my work, myself, what I do, and really share my passion with you guys, ladies and gentlemen. How are you in this beautiful day? I'm currently in London and I've really been enjoying this beautiful sunshine, which we don't really get so much in London. Even if we do get it, we usually spend it in the offices, and I'm just super grateful at the moment that during the lockdown I have a chance to to work from home and just really enjoy working outside in my garden and just really enjoy the sun on my skin. And you can see I'm getting a little suntan now. So yeah, I hope that you're doing well and you have your own creative ways of working from home and enjoying the sunshine and the weather wherever you are on the planet. Don't know about you, but for the lockdown, I have really changed my perspective about the whole situation, really. You know, the lockdown for me has really turned out to be a blessing in disguise. At the beginning, I was really ignoring the problem. I was really not really paying attention to it and really just ignoring it. On the other side of the world, it doesn't make any sense for me to worry about it. But the reality hit me because during the weekend, before they locked down Spain, I went to a last minute spontaneous holiday for the weekend. And they literally locked everything down there whilst I was on my holiday, and this is when I realized, oh my god, things are getting serious. There was no even a single person on the street. You know, everything was just closed. And obviously I was there in a hotel because I was on a holiday, so no restaurants are open and we couldn't eat. We had to buy from the shops, but you know, you can't cook it, so it was just really uncomfortable. And I was like, ooh, this is getting serious, you know. I almost got stuck there because I actually managed to fly from Spain to London on pretty much the last plane. And I was just so scared I was going to leave, I was going to end up in Spain because, you know, my whole life is in London at the moment. But yeah, thank God I came back in my house, in my garden, so I'm nice and settled here. But this is when reality hit me and I got really stressed about it. I was like, what are we going to do with this pandemic, etc. And I went panicking a little bit, and I went to the shops and the shops were closed. And all of a sudden, you know, I decided to take a step back because I noticed how worried I'm getting, and I took a step back and I said to myself, okay, this is the situation, you know, how can I use this situation for, you know, in my highest good and in the best good of others? How can I use that to be in service of myself and of others? And I got my intuitive insight. And what I got is broadcast yourself, show yourself to the world. And for me, this was a very pivotal point because, you know, I've been doing this work that I'm talking about, intuition, coaching, energy work, etc. I've been doing all of that for about 5 years now. But I've never really put myself out there to the world. I've always relied on people that are just coming to me naturally, and then, you know, and it's been a great journey. But I've never really broadcasted myself and put my message out there in the world. So I said, okay, that is a great timing to actually use my energy creatively. And I started investing my time in building my own channel, creating my Facebook pages, one in Bulgarian and one in English, so that I can interact with the two crowds, because I am Bulgarian and I'd love my people to, you know, from my country to receive my wisdom too, but also, you know, the people that I've met here in London and reach out, you know, even bigger audience through English language. So I've started working on really putting myself out there and giving out the message that I know is so valuable, especially in times like this, like the lockdown. And I just keep getting, you know, even though I've been working with this work for about 5 years now, I keep being fascinated by it, you know, I just keep being fascinated by it. Because what it really is about is really truly connecting to what is true and meaningful to you, and going for what you love. And when you do that, you see I've seen so many examples of how the whole universe conspires to help me create what I love. Even during the lockdown, when you'd say nothing can really happen, what happened in my house was that because I've made that decision to start my own channel, to put myself out there. What happened is everyone from the house, and I also wanted peace and quiet for myself so that I'm able to create, able to produce content, and to create creatively. And my whole house, the people from my whole house, I live with 7 people, they left their countries, because we're an international house, so everyone left their countries. There's only one person that has left. And this flatmate is the housemate that I've actually communicated the least ever since he moved in. And again, I wouldn't have made him more perfect. He is the person who, in that time during the lockdown, I not only got to know him and saw his rich personality, but also he's the one that studies cybersecurity and is amazing in coding and creating, websites or anything that is related to coding. And so he offered to help me to create my own website. I never thought that I'll need that. I didn't think about that when I was receiving my insight, that I just need to put myself out there. But when I chose that, when I made that decision, the universe literally cleared my house from all the people and unnecessary noise and left only that person that wants to help me create my website. How genius is that? Could I have rationally made that happen and kick everyone out? And leave the only person that I communicated with the least during this lockdown, and I had a chance to get to know him more, and he told me all about himself and the fact that he's really passionate about creating websites and coding, etc., and he needs to practice for his degree, and he offered to do mine. How cool is that? I couldn't have done it I couldn't have done it rationally. With this example, I'll just like to show you how, even though I've been doing this work for 5 years, and there's people out there that work with intuition as well, I keep being really inspired and fascinated by the power of our own creative abilities. Because when we choose for what we love, everything helps us to create what we love. We create the circumstance and the people to support us in creating what we love. It is just an incredible thing. It's just a fascinating thing. Anyways, so just my own fascination, which I've been realizing over the last few days, because this is what's just happening right now. Because my housemate is creating my own website in exactly the way I like, and every little single thing is just being made the way I'd like it to be, so it's just super exciting for me. But anyways, what I'd really like to talk to you about today is to really show you about what I really offer. About what I really offer, and what, I've already shared what I do, but what I really offer in terms of services, in how you can, engage with me should you want that. So I do two types of services: individual, working one-on-one, and group trainings. So first I'd like to talk about the group trainings, because I find them really exciting, and they're available to a lot more people than the individual ones, because for the individual ones, they require a lot of energy and a lot of effort, concentrated only on one person. So for me, given my busy schedule, I can't really take that many people, so I'm just going to share with you for the group trainings first, and I'll briefly mention the one-to-one sessions in the end. So the group trainings are a really powerful way to connect with like-minded individuals, where you can create really authentic connections and relationships, because the intuitive work really breaks the boundaries of all our protections and all our walls that we build, and we're actually able to penetrate through to the root core of the person. So really what happens in these group trainings is that it really builds the foundation lays the foundation of really good and incredible friendships. And this is why I love it so much, because it just breaks the boundaries. So I've got three group trainings really. The first one is a free training, which happens online every month, one in Bulgarian and one in English language. So once a month I have this demo of the work. Is where I actually introduce people to what is intuition, what is superconsciousness, what is higher self, and how we can use that to create beautiful things in our lives. It is just a demonstration, and there I introduce people with a beautiful technique on how to connect with intuition and receive a powerful download from your intuition about things that you'd love to create in life. So this is the demo. It is an online training that lasts about 1 hour to 2 hours, 1 to 2 hours, and it's literally just online, and it's completely free. So it's the perfect way to really introduce yourself to intuition, and just to see whether that work is something you'd like to go with. The other group training that I do is the foundational level. Foundational level training is a 2-day training. It happens once every 2 months. And the foundational level training is where I really immerse people in their intuition, really connect people with their creative faculties, and really help people understand the difference between the creative orientation in life and the perceptive orientation in life. Just laying it out there that the perception orientation in life is via our own limited perception of our own limited personal experiences, and how you can go outside of that perceptive mode and go into creative mode, and the creative awareness and the creative orientation in life. So during this 2-day training, this is what we do. We differentiate between the two and learn how to use our intuition to tap into that side of ourselves, the higher self, and how we can really use just to get to know ourselves in our creative mode, because all of us have it, we're just not familiar with it. These two worlds and modes of awareness, they do exist within us, but we're just not aware of them. So we really introduce people to that creative orientation in life and have personal experience, not just a theory, so that they can experience their creative orientation in life. It's a very powerful training to get introduced to your creative orientation in life. So there will be more levels. At the moment it's only the foundational level that is live, and it's happening in June, but the next one is happening in June. But there are other more levels of trainings that are in the moment under construction and under production. I'm working on developing them. The other type of training that I have is actually particularly tailored for the ladies. And it's something that is really close to my heart, because about 5 years ago I started a journey, really committed to the journey of self-discovery, really committed to the journey of going within and going deeper. And that journey really led me, meandering along different, mastering different levels of myself, and getting to know different parts of myself. And one part that has been an incredible, it's been incredibly difficult at the beginning, but also brought me the most pleasure in my life, is working on unleashing the woman within, and really connecting to the woman that I really am and I was born to be, and really connecting with my root core as a woman, connected with my sensuality, with my sexuality, with my desires, with my needs, and everything that everything that my heart and soul and body is craving. And this is a very vulnerable topic for a lot of women, and women along generations have been suppressed by expressing what is really truly in them. And what I've been through, and along my journey, the techniques that I've used, and everything that I've learned has really helped me create a beautiful training that there's just so much power and integrity, and is really able to connect the woman with what's going on within her, with literally her true feminine essence and her own body and her own juice. And it is just literally one of the most beautiful things you can ever do for yourself as a woman. And for this training, without spoiling it too much, what it really is a monthly gathering, monthly sisterhood gathering is the way I call it. So it happens every month, and we get together as women, you know, probably online at the beginning because it is the lockdown at the moment, but eventually it's going to be in person too. There'll be options for that. And we will be performing different rituals. We will use different shamanic practices and energetic work that I've been acquainted with throughout my journey that has really helped me unleash and uncover the true essence of me, of myself as a woman, and has really helped me connect with my body to an extent that I've never felt more connected before. And with all these beautiful shamanic and energetic practices, we really get to, you know, to let the divine essence within us shine and brighten and be expressed in the world. So this is what these monthly gatherings are all about. I'm not going to spoil it too much. All I'm going to say is that all of these training for the monthly female gatherings, the prerequisite to participate in the female gatherings, the sisterhood gatherings, is the foundational level of training that I just mentioned before. And the reason for that is that for the female gatherings, you really need to understand a bit more about intuition, how to use it, because during the rituals and the energy work, it's really important that you do everything intuitively rather than with your mind and rationally. We really need to learn how to use intuition in order to participate in that energetic work. So this is why I've got a prerequisite that we need to do the foundational level first, and then start the journey of, you know, unleashing the woman within, or the goddess within, you know. So this is the sisterhood gatherings. I just want to quickly share a little story with this, because what actually inspired me to create that up, you know. About 5 years ago, when I was first introduced to intuition, people kept telling me that they see that I work with energy, and then I couldn't really understand what it was. I like the idea because it sounds really, you know, different, and I've always liked all these things that are really magical, but I never really understood how that works. I never really had any experience with it, and it just sparked my interest, you know, because it came from a few people that could read energies, and I'm like, oh, what's that about? And then I started contemplating, what's that about? And I really chose to understand and go to the bottom of it and understand what's that about. What happened back then was that my ex-boyfriend at the time, he was quite ill and he had some problems with his stomach. And he found a shaman here in London to help him with bioresonance to potentially heal. It turned out that this doctor with bioresonance is a shaman. And as soon as he told me about his experience, I was like, I really need to go and see this person. I feel drawn to him. I really need to talk to him. And of course, I booked an appointment with him as soon as possible, and I went. And the first thing that happened was, as soon as I walked in the door, when it was my turn to walk in, he was like, "Oh, stop by the door, I'm getting something for you." And then he closed his eyes and said, "Oh, you're an energy healer, I need to teach you for free." He said, "I get that I need to teach you for free. Sit down and let me know how, you know, what's your relationship and experience with energy." And I was completely shocked because I didn't have any experience with it whatsoever, you know, and anything, you know, in relation to that. And I was completely shocked. Obviously I loved it, but I was like, yeah, I'm super open, let's do it. It was more out of curiosity than anything else. And what happened after is that he really helped me open up myself to energy. He really helped me become sensitive to it, understand it, work with it, communicate with it, and even see it really. So what he really did is open me up to my own sensitivity and ability, which I was born with, you know, which I was already born with. And he really opened the door for me that that I wouldn't have done it any other way. So it was just in the perfect timing. Who knew that years later I would really use all that energy to help people and really transform their lives and their bodies, and really free themselves up from all that stuck in their bodies and create a beautiful connection and experience beautiful pleasure. So what I was trying to say with this is that, when you really choose to commit to your own journey, to your own path, to unleashing what's within, everything falls into place magically so that you can make the necessary steps towards what you'd love to create. And it's just so beautiful to observe, and this is why it feels so magical, and I love to refer to it as magic, because it is outside the rational understanding of life, and it really feels like magic. It really does feel like magic to me. I cannot predict what is going to happen. All I do is I choose to, I choose what I'd love. And take the obvious actions, and I never know how it's going to work out. I never know. And it's just so magical and beautiful to live like that, It's just super inspiring. It keeps you engaged, it keeps you entertained, because I surprise myself all the time by the beauty that can come out of me. I never knew that I was capable of so much, wisdom and of so much beauty, in my life. I never knew that I could help people, even with their health problems. People come to me, people that I work with, people with so many, a array of different problems. Some people come with me because they have pain from a relationship, of a breakup, or or they're with somebody and they don't resonate with, and they don't know what to do. They feel really stuck in their life, or they're completely lost and they don't know, which path to take in life. Or they've got issues and problems with their, for example, I've worked with a few women that have problems with their periods, and their period is late and it's not coming, or I've got cystitis, or all sorts of these things, and I am able to help them. I am able to help them, and I never knew I could do that before my intuition. I never knew. It was only in my dreams that I wanted to help people. All I knew was that I want to help people, but I didn't know how, and I didn't know what I'm doing to help them. And with intuition, I keep taking my steps, and I keep revealing to myself what is my ability, what is my skill that I have, and how I could use that skill to help others. And it's revealing to me, and I know enough now to put myself out there and let you be part of my life should you want to. So this was my little share for today. I have told you about my trainings, my group trainings. So I'll very quickly introduce you to my individual trainings, very, very briefly before I wish you a good day. So my individual trainings can happen in two ways. One is just a one-off session where you've got a problem and we just need to dig out and understand why you're in that stuck situation, and we just see how you can free yourself up from it, from an intuitive perspective, of course, not from the rational mind. And we see how that could happen for you. And of course you can come back or may not come back after this. It is entirely up to you. It's a one-off session. And the other type of individual training is an individual program. It is an actual 6 or 12-month program where you come and see me twice a month for 6 months or 12 months, depending on the program, and we work together. And I support you in unleashing your truth, in unleashing what is true for you, your gifts and talents, and and bringing them to the world. And this is how it happens. All of that happens intuitively. So I don't know who you are. I don't know what your talents are. We work together intuitively to bring that out of you, and I support you all the way for the 6 months of the year to really help you bring that out to the world, to see that for yourself, that you've got it, and to bring it out to the world. What I'd like to mention here is that there is no set particular strategy or structure that I do it, in a sense, because I work intuitively, which means that it is different for everyone. Every session is different for everyone, and every session is different to the other, because everyone faces different reality. everyone lives in a different reality. Every person is unique and is having their own limitations and their own perceptions and their own definitions and just limitations in their own, you know, mind and their own life, and have their own past experiences, and that is very unique for each and every person. So because I work intuitively, no session is the same, and that is a blessing, because then you really see everything with fresh eyes and fresh perspective every single time, and get insight intuitively into, you know, into who you are and how to bring yourself to the world, and that's it. These are the two type of individual sessions that I offer. So lastly, what I'd love to say is that I would just really love all of us, you know, all of us as a society, to really understand who we really are in our core, because from my experience in life, this is the only real and true way to really thrive in life, you know, because no matter how many times other people have told you how you need to be, or how you should be, or no matter how you think you should be, this is absolute nonsense. And you know, and until you peel all the layers and really keep connecting, because it's a lifelong journey, right? The journey doesn't stop in a month. You know, you always get deeper and deeper understanding and deeper truths. You know, even after 5 years, even after 10 years, even after 20 years of working with intuition, you know, there's so many layers. We are multifaceted beings, and we have so much about us that needs to be uncovered and, you know, and freed up to be expressed in the world. So no matter how you think you be, or no matter how others you think you should be, this is an absolute nonsense. The only real relationship that we need to work on in our lives is the relationship with ourselves. And we can never be truly fulfilled or truly, you know, engaged in our lives and truly happy in our lives until we understand who we really are, and until we start living from our core and from our hearts. And that doesn't mean that we're going to be perfect, we're not going to be making mistakes. No, you know, we're human beings. We lose focus, we go off track sometimes, etc. But all it matters is to keep returning to yourself. Keep returning when you catch yourself that you're distracted and, you know, trying to be someone else again, and just really bring yourself back. You know, and this is what scares people the most. You know, being ourselves and being our vulnerable self. A lot of people's, you know, see for weakness, but what I say, this is the most courageous state that you can be. You know, this is the most courageous state that you can be in. And so all I'm going to say is that just never really look outside anymore. Everything that you need and you will ever need, it is happening within, and all you need is that language called intuition, so that you can communicate with your true essence, your heart, your soul, to really go about in life and to really discover what are the treasures that you were born with, and bring those to the world. You know, I never really knew when I was young and, you know, as a teenager, I never knew that I wanted to run, you know, workshops, that I wanted to train people with intuition and super consciousness. I never knew that I had that wisdom in me in the first place. I never knew about these things. I never knew that I could work with energy and help people transform, you know, themselves, their bodies, and particularly, you know, in relation to their sexuality. I never knew that I love writing. In fact, I was the person who was cheating in my literature classes because I just hated writing, you know. But by my intuition, I understood that I've got that gift and talent, and I started writing, and it's beautiful. But I never knew how I could bring that out of me until, you know, I started working with my intuition and went within. I never knew all of that about me, and in fact, a lot of that sounded very woo-woo to me, and it took me a while to process that and let myself do that and be that. So, you know, all I really want to say is that you don't know yourself. Until you start looking within, you don't know yourself. You might think that you know yourself, but you don't. I thought that I knew myself very well, but I didn't. And until you start looking within to really discover what's within, you'll never be able to, you know, to live fully. You're just gonna go about in your life being empty, thinking that everything is alright, you know, having, you know, a few friends, family, enough money to survive, but, you know, or even a lot of money, you know, some people have a lot of money, but, you know, are they fulfilled from within, from the heart, from the soul? Can they die with a smile on their face, knowing that they've lived, that they've given everything, you know, that they've lived a life full of love and full of, you know, passion and full of everything in between? You know, this is the type of life that everyone is meant to live. You know, this is the type of life that we're meant to live. And I don't want to say that, you know, just to put it out there, there's nothing wrong with money. I love money, you know, everyone, you know, it's a beautiful thing to have. But it is a separate topic for which I'll probably make another video for that. But just to put it out there that, you know, when you usually focus on money and trying to control the outside environment by trying to get attention or money, this is usually coming from a sense of lack, sense of not having within yourself. And when you do that, even if you may create the attention and the love in one way or another outside, you will not have the fulfillment from within, because it's coming from a sense of lack that you're trying to fill out. So the only real true way to really, you know, have abundance in your life, not only in money sense, you know, in having money in your life, but also having the fulfillment in your life, is to first, you know, see what's within. Because with your treasures, I can promise you, you can earn as much money as you'd love to. You really can. And this is the greatest fear of everyone, the fear of their own greatness. This is why it's so difficult to see ourselves for who we really are, because we are truly great beings and we have true treasures within ourselves. And because of that, it's so true to believe that this is us. This is the greatest fear. Not that we are small and inadequate, but that we are great by nature. We are born by nature to be great, and everyone has this God within. You know, our higher self, the connection with the higher, this is the God within. Everyone has that. And until you develop that relationship with that part of yourself, a healthy relationship with that part of yourself, and, you know, start receiving that that wisdom, you will not be able to really make yourself fulfilled and happy in life. You know, and you all go about life thinking about, you know, money, partner, everything. It's beautiful to have those, but if you're trying to control the outside environment, you'll never be satisfying and fulfilling. You'll always end up being unhappy in one way or another, because it's a temporary solution to what is going on within. So yeah, go within and just seeing who you are for who you are is the greatest treasure that you can ever enjoy. The greatest treasure that you'll ever see is your own true self. You're full of treasures, and you know, you can bring those to the world because they belong to you, and it's your job and responsibility to do that. So thank you for listening today. I hope that resonated with you and you had your daily piece of wisdom, or daily piece of a piece of love or inspiration. So have a beautiful day, and I'll see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock, where you will receive your first challenge. Love you all.